Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about all of the PvP changes that happened in Wrath of the Lich King. So these are the topics we're going to be talking about. First of all, the new arenas, new battlegrounds, then a little bit about Wintergrasp, then general arena and battleground tweaks, how the gearing up process is different, and how racials changed. By the way guys, if you are looking to prepare for when Classic Wrath is finally released, I've got a great leveling guide and a great gold making guide. You'll find information to all of that in the description down below. But anyway, let's jump into the video. So first of all, I think most people already know this, we have the new battleground, Strand of the Ancients and Isle of Conquest. And these battlegrounds are largely focused on siege vehicle PvP combat. So in Strand of the Ancients, for example, there's gates that you have to use demolishers on to destroy those gates and then eventually keep going forward and forward until you get to the relic room at the end. Isle of Conquest is also fairly similar, but it's more like Alterac Valley crossed with Wintergrasp. Two fortresses either side, there's bases that you can capture, and obviously you need to capture these bases to get certain vehicles to take down the gates of the enemy base, and then when you knock those gates down, you go and take down the boss in the room, in the fortress. There's also two new arenas appearing. You've got your Orgrimmar arena, which is actually removed later on weirdly. You only see this arena in Wrath, and then you've also got the Dalaran arena. Now let me briefly explain Wintergrasp. I'll do a video that will explain it in much more detail in the future. Basically, you've got one faction who owns Wintergrasp Fortress, and they have to defend it from the opposite faction. The best way that they can defend that is taking over bases to reduce the amount of time that the enemy faction has to take over the base. And the way that the enemy faction takes over the base is they capture certain workshops and then they use those workshops to build vehicles to go down and take the gates down. But in order to actually unlock those vehicles, you have to kill a certain amount of players. And then you rank up and then you get access to better and better vehicles. And once that fortress is either defended or taken over by the enemy faction, you will unlock a mini-boss. And these mini-bosses, they come out for every single phase of the game, and they will have tier gear and PvP gear. Now let's talk about the nitty-gritty PvP tweaks. Now these are the general PvP tweaks. So first of all, battleground experience is being added to Wrath of the Lich King, or Classic Wrath when it comes out. And you can also have the option at this point to turn off XP if you want it. So if you're going to be a twink, you now have to freeze your XP, but that also means you will only be able to queue against other twinks who have also frozen their XP. There's also the Honourable Defender buff, which means when you are defending a base, you generate double honour. Warsong Gulch also now gets a timer, so whoever has the most flag captures by the end of the battleground will automatically win. It will make Warsong Gulches much shorter, and they won't drag on for too long. I have a Storm and Arathi base and have been removed down to 1600 points, not 2000 points. This is also when you can actually queue for battlegrounds from your microbar. You no longer have to go to a battleground master in a capital city or anything like that. You just press a button on your bars and there you go, Bob's your uncle. You can queue for any battleground you want. And it's also when random battleground is introduced. So you can do a random battleground, a bit like you do a random dungeon finder. That will grant you a little bit of extra honour. You also get your call to arms weekends for certain battlegrounds, but they give you the same amount of honour that you would from the random battleground. So basically you've got that permanently if you just queue for a random battleground. Now for arena tweaks, abilities with a 10-minute cooldown or longer can't be used in arena. That made me think, well, does that mean Bloodlust can't be used in arena more? Well, the cooldown on Bloodlust actually gets reduced. So you can still use Bloodlust in arena, but certain other cooldowns with longer than 10 minutes cannot be used. Healing is also generally on the board reduced by 10%. Rage and Runic Power is reset to 0 when the arena starts, so you can't generate some extra rage before it starts. And this goes for little buffs like buffs from sacrificing your Voidwalker, little tricks like that. You can't do stuff like that anymore. So it's important to know that you can only get titles and gear now from 3v3 or 5v5. This means 2v2 is just a way to generate your arena points. It will no longer be the main competitive climate. That'll all be about 3v3s and 5v5s. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to get Gladiator title. Now let me talk about the gearing up costs. So I put it all on the screen right now. Each individual piece of gear will require a certain amount of rating. For instance, your helmet is going to require 1950 rating, shoulders are going to require 2000, but then stuff like the sigils and wands only requires 1700, and then you can get last season's sigils and relics and stuff for 700. Then it's also important to note that your arena weapons and offhands and shields will all be like 1800, but then you can also get exceptional weapons for 2200 rating, which are just slightly better item level and slightly better power. It's important to note though that a lot of people do go for PvE weapons because they have like better procs and also gem sockets and things like that. And then the tabard is 2300. You can also buy last season's arena gear for honor and cheap arena points. You can get the current season's gear with more arena points, and the weapons still need a little bit of honor. And then you also have your honor gear, but there's no such thing as honor weapons yet. Now let me talk about racials, where they are relevant to PvP content anyway. So perception has totally changed. It's not something you pop anymore. You just have slightly better stealth detection than every other race in the game. Humans also get every man for himself. It's basically a trinket. It's extremely overpowered because it means that humans can get 2 DPS trinkets or 2 healing trinkets. Stone form no longer provides immunity. It just pops you out of certain effects. Shadow meld is now usable in combat. Can be used to break combat with PvE mobs, I should point that out, but can also be used to dodge certain abilities like a frostbolt or a polymorph. Night Elf still also have better stealth than other races. Gift of Anaru is now an instant cast, you don't have to cast it, and it scales better with attack power and spell power. Hardiness has changed to reduce the duration of stuns, not increase stun resistance. Blood Fury no longer has its healing reduction on it. Will of the Forsaken, similar change to Stone form. The immunity has been removed and it just pops you out of a charm or sleep effect or fear effect, and it also has a 35-second internal cooldown with your trinkets. You also get the Voodoo Shuffle for the trolls, 15% reduced duration on movement impairing effects. Berserking is now a flat 20% increased attack speed or casting speed for 10 seconds, like a little mini Bloodlust. It's very nice. You also have Arcane Torrent. Mana tap has been totally removed. It's now a 2-second silence, and it restores a percentage of your mana or runic power or energy. And then just as a side note, when Blood Elves can be warrior, that will also be included for Rage. But anyway guys, those are all of the PvP changes coming in Classic Wrath. Let me know if I've missed anything in the comment section down below and I'll give it a good pin. Anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.